fried, damaged, heated up, omeletted, cut it, regret it, split ends, losing hair. What mama never told you about hair. I suggest you grab a coffee because this video is going to be a little bit long. I'll debunk some myth. I know a lot of people will come at me. I'm not a dermatologist. I'm not a certified anything. I'm just a person who experimented with hair a lot, and I'm pretty much very nerdy about any topic. The description box is going to be full of links that are very useful, that are going to transform your life, I'm telling you. If you go to a supermarket or a drugstore, there is usually the aisle that tells you like colored hair, dandruff, oily hair, dry hair, volume hair. That's because we understand the hair anatomy wrong. So there are two main things. There is hair shaft and there is scalp. Okay, products for the hair type, they do not make sense because your hair shaft, which is this part, has requirements from a person to another very different from the scalp. The scalp usually have conditions. So excess sebum, which what they call it oily hair, is just a condition of excess sebum production. Dandruff is a condition of people who have malassezia, for example, which I talked about in the Tiny Bumps Fungal Act. You can watch that video later. The scalp is the alive part. When you lose hair, you lose it because of the scalp, not because of the shaft. Although a very damaged shaft can cause damage to the scalp, cut it down in order to understand which products will work better for our hair in general. The hair cycle is that you normally grow hair, it stays on your head for a little bit, and then it starts falling. A person normally sheds about 100 strands of hair a day. Yes, so when you have hair dropping in your hands, that's not because you're losing hair. And a lot of people misunderstand the difference between both, and they think like, oh my God, I'm losing hair, but in fact, you're not losing hair. It's just the normal cycle. If you lose less than 100, actually that's a problem. And if you lose more than 100, then it's a problem. Two extremes, all natural products, all natural shampoos, conditioners, the movement that tells you to not use harmful chemicals. It does not mean if it is all natural that it is better for your hair. There are main devils. So for the hair shaft, the worst things are ammonia. It opens the hair shaft to allow things inside. It exists in almost all products. They're not ammonia free. At the same time, silicones cover the hair shaft that was just opened by ammonia. But the thing is, that's like an artificial cover. So moisture does not get into the hair shaft, which leads to it to be dry. So these two main devils, in my opinion, harm the hair the most. Even all natural products sometimes contain ammonia in a form or another. I use regular shampoo. My favorite shampoo is the Scalp one. I can make an entire video about the products that work for me. Weather, hormones, genetics, habits, scalp conditions, nutrition, and mental. These are the main things that ruin your hair. Does not necessarily mean falling, but also damaging to the hair shaft. So weather, sun, cold weather, too much moisture or too much dryness in the air would really ensure that the moisture you put in the hair either escapes or stays too much. Hormones. As a person who suffers from PCO, you might suffer from baldness, bald spots, a lot of things in that regard. In order to treat it, not a shampoo or a conditioner you're going to use is going to help. What helps? You taking medications to solve the cause. Most of us look for solutions in the end result of the wash cycle. But what we really need to focus on is reason. That's why going to a dermatologist is essential, or at least do your research. Genetic. And when it comes to genetic, it's the only one from all the types that you cannot stop. You can slow down, but you cannot fully stop. That's why treatments that promote collagen to the scalp, lasers and things like that, they're very helpful. Habits, yeah, you always brush your hair. Dry shampoo, this is the devil for the scalp, if I may tell you. People telling you not to shower for long. If you have excess sebum or malassezia, which causes dandruff, what happens is your pores, because the scalp is a skin like your face. Can you not wash your face every day? Crazy, right? Those pores get clogged with too much dead skin, and at the same time, not only dead skin, you also put a lot of product onto your scalp, weighing it down, clogging that area. So for some people, washing daily is a must. Otherwise, their hair is going to fall. So scientifically, washing daily is important. Do not wash the hair down there. What you need to do is massaging your scalp very, very well. Massage it with a shampoo that cleanses cleanses the scalp. You know, we look at active ingredients for our skincare all the time, but guess what? It's also as important as for the scalp. You need salicylic acid if you have excess sebum anywhere on your body, not only your face. Yes, in order to reduce the amount of sebum, you need that ingredient. The scalp, think of it like the skin. What you do to your skin is exactly important. Also, one of these brushes, I haven't tried it honestly, but those silicone brushes that necessarily like scrub the scalp really well, those are very beneficial. It helps you to exfoliate the scalp and help the scalp to get nourished, and in order to grow your hair and not get trapped with the excess sebum and dead skin. As I said, a lot of people think that hair fall and hair thinning is the same thing. If you have a lot of hair fall, that means the hair itself from the scalp with this white blob falling. But hair thinning is that when you touch your hair from the bottom, it's very thin. Hair thinning actually is due to problems with the hair shaft, not with the scalp. Hair fall on the other side, something that is caused on the scalp, so you need to treat it from the scalp. And usually it is more internal than external if it's not happening from the uncleanliness of the scalp. The main active ingredients that help the scalp: salicylic acid for excess sebum, as we mentioned, urea for excess dryness, which is also, you can find it in a lot of body lotions that are medical. The main ingredient, I don't remember its name, for dandruff shampoos, and that is actually also what's recommended to use on your face if you have fungal acne or malassezia. Your scalp is like your skin. It's like we are susceptible of getting allergies from fragrance, and the problem is most of shampoos and conditioners and things like that that get into our scalp is full of fragrance. You do not need that much fragrance to clean your hair. If you wash your hair or your scalp every day with a mild shampoo that has an active ingredient that actually targets the problems in your scalp. A good trick is I sometimes spray it on a brush and then I wash my hair and then I have the perfume like coming out of my pH level. What is pH? There is a normal grade of pH in the skin, and you need to always keep on track with this thing. When we wash our skin in general or our hair, we strip our face from the pH, we irregular it, depends on the type of also cleanser you're using. The thing is, what you need to do is to bring it back. So a pH balancing shampoo is super important. With the hair shaft, damage cannot be retrieved. You can prevent damage from happening to the hair. So if split ends happen, the only solution for them is you cutting it out. So what happens is you have to always coat the hair with a lot of moisture in order to not allow it to go to there, and also have regular trim, because they do not help your hair to grow like people have as a misconception, but they help your hair to stay healthy. That if you're trying to grow your hair out, to not do them as frequently, but if you're trying to maintain your hair health, then do them. Conditioner is kind of the devil in my eyes because it's full of silicone. Silicone or dimethicone is a chemical that when you touch, this is what gives you this slippery feeling that you have. That's why people tell you like to use it for shaving, because it gives this very slippery texture. And the thing is, this slippery texture covers the hair shaft, as I mentioned, and prevents anything to enter. So if you did not moisture your hair well, which what you do when you shower, you strip your hair from moisture, then you coat it with silicone. What you're basically doing is you're preserving the state of your hair being dry. You'll get out of the shower, you're gonna keep putting on serums that also has silicone, preserving the thing that does not have moisture. And the best way I found is to deep condition my hair with something that does not have alcohol, does not have silicone, does not have ammonia. And then after I go out of the shower, I can put a serum with silicone to protect. Do not get conditioner close to the scalp, because as I say, it's a shaft thing. It has nothing to do with your scalp, so do not go and indulge into putting your conditioner all up the top. Also hair masks, because some of them, they're deep conditioners basically, some of them also have silicone, so you have to check. Using things like apple cider vinegar, using things like coconut oil for the scalp as conditioning. And the thing is, although I used to do that all the time, this is very dangerous because you do not know how alkaline these ingredients are, and if there are too alkaline, they mess up the pH. In order to know the right amount that could work for your hair, you really need to test the pH level so frequently, and most of us don't do that. On the other side, you can use oils on your shaft. Something like argan oil has studies proving that it is good for the hair. Something like coconut oil is good for the shaft, very good for the shaft. So if you do a coconut oil mask by putting the coconut oil on your hair, staying with it with a cap on and then removing it and washing it, it's going to nourish the shaft and help moisturize it more. Rubbing your hair too much, putting tension on the scalp too much, these things are the main reasons why your hair is suffering a lot and might cause hair loss. So really be gentle with the scalp and the hair all the time as much as possible. Brush the hair from the bottom to the top. Try to dry it with gentle things. I find t-shirts the best. Heat styling also is damaging. Although I do it, I'm guilty of it, but at the same time I can assure you that it is not the main cause of a lot of damage as much as the other things that you're using and they're not helping, they're actually causing the problem a little bit more. Okay, so I had to grab my phone in order to show you this. So there is something called hair prosperity level, and that is something that will tell you your hair shaft, how much is it damaged by silicone and by these products and things. So there are 3 categories: low, medium or normal, and high. And in order to do that, it's preferred to do it with clean hair. Take a hair strand that already fell from your hair, keep it, and put it in a cup of water. Hair prosperity level is low, the hair is going to float. Normal, it's going to sink midway, and if it is high, it's going to deeply sink. So what happens is, if it's low, that means closed hair cuticles doesn't really easily absorb moisture, and products build up easily on your hair. If it is medium, you're lucky, because that means you're the ideal hair, you don't have problems. What are you doing? Don't watch this video. Yeah. If it is high, then your hair gets moisture in and out very easily, and it tends to be tangled and frizzy fat. If you have high, and that was my case, this happens when you use products with ammonia, like hair dye, for example, or like any product with ammonia. Any product can have ammonia, you have to know that. What ammonia does, as I said, it opens the hair shaft and it doesn't close it. If you do not keep sealing it with silicone, then the moisture that you put in will escape fast. That's why also some people, when they dye their hair, they lose the pigment very fast. After a couple of washes, the hair goes, and some others keep the hair color for longer. So the best kind of oils, if you have low to medium hair prosperity, is grapeseed oil, sweet almond oil, and argan oil. Coconut oil, if you have low prosperity, may not be exactly the most suited for your hair type because it's not gonna easily pentrate. If you have medium to high hair prosperity, coconut oil, olive oil, and grapeseed oils, they also work for you. Another important test for your shaft, the hair protein test. You test how much your hair can stretch. Okay, so if you get a clean strand of hair and you stretch it like that, what happens? If the hair immediately breaks without much stretching, you may have too much protein. If the hair stretches about 30%, it's pretty normal, and normal hair should be able to stretch about that much. Hair that stretches quite a bit, 50% plus, may be in need of protein. So these 2 tests are so important to check your hair condition at the moment. Guide that alongside your scalp condition. Make your concoction. I personally use a shampoo that contains nothing from what I've said, silicone, ammonia, alcohol, because my hair shaft really dreads all of this. At the same time, it's very gentle and it's voluminizing, so it's really, really good for my scalp. It cleanses without stripping my hair away. I deep condition my ends, and I use this husk mask because it does not have also those ingredients. Again, I leave it for a little bit. Before I go to the shower, I use coconut oil on my ends only. Do not touch with it my scalp, and that's it. The myth also of vitamins. Guys, vitamins, there is nothing proven medically that biotin does anything to the hair. The medical papers that are out there says that it is good for the nails, but not necessarily for the hair. So does that tell you anything? It does. Another myth also is nothing says that sodium lauryl sulfate causes what people say it does. If you use it excessive and leave it on the skin, it may does that. Products, like products that you use and then wash off, there is no chance of you getting anything. Products that are claiming to be sodium lauryl sulfate free, they have other ingredients and replacements that are more bad. Think with your minds why there is a lot of marketing campaigns debunking sodium lauryl sulfate. Suddenly it's new products trying to penetrate the market. It has nothing to do with your scalp. This video had a lot of information and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want more, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you want to hear from me in this series, What Mama Never Told You? And as always, I'm always trying to give you all the nerdy information that I get. If you want to see how I transformed my hair into this hair, watch my previous video. I'm going to put it also in the card. See you in my next video. Bye.